Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode now of the NASCAR Heat for Nitro Racing League here on the Xbox One. I hope you're all having a great day. Today is race number 2 of the regular season at Auto Club. So this race actually ended up being more of a pack race than Daytona was. So you can kind of imagine how this would end up going, as pack racing online doesn't usually go the best. Here was the driver's briefing coming into this race. Basically, the race was 80 lap stages, 20, 20, 40. It said it ended on 21, 41, 81, but there was actually a bit of an issue at the start. So these stages actually end on lap 22, 42, and 82 as the scheduled time. So we'll get right into this race here, and Auto Club actually started at the back of the field. So basically we had kind of a failed attempt at a start, and that's kind of what pushed things back a little bit as well. So there was a bit of a lag spike, and that actually wiped me out on the initial start. So I didn't even show that. I kind of approached this as the initial start as we went down into turns 1. Like I said, this ended up being more of a pack race than what Daytona was. It was pretty wild, so it was certainly pretty hairy at times. Had to be really cautious and really aggressive at the same time, and the draft was huge at this track. You see already on lap 1 here for us that the 14 nearly getting into the side of your lap 3 in the actual race. Obviously, like I said, 80 lap race, 200 laps just because we have obviously a chance of overtime, so we need those extra laps. There's a came out of turn 4 running behind the Ford car as he went down through across the line behind us. It was 48 and the 9, but I would slowly get my way up into this little pack here. We had Christian in the 42 on my inside getting clear of me down this back straightaway as we were running behind MJ. Sean in the 12 just in front of Christian, actually slowing him up a little bit there as we went down into turn 3. At this point, it was the 10 of Matt Chaffee leading the race here on these opening laps. So nice to see him up front there. They were going 3 wide in front of us, and now the 12 and the 4, we get into it there as we get into the wall there. Thankfully, keeping us straight, but the guys ahead, they're not keeping us straight. Now as we're involved in the first incident here as we go through sliding into the infield, the caution would be called, as there was just kind of a hole closing right there, and immediately I'm like, well, it's going to be a wreck fest. It was quite a few wrecks in this race. Thankfully, we weren't involved in too many, so we got right back into the racing here. There was quite a few cautions, and I didn't feel like showing all the restarts of us literally just hitting the throttle and getting up to speed, so I decided to cut out kind of the first half the lap of the restarts and get to where we're up to speed. So we were in the back, obviously, due to crashing, so now having to work our way back forward. So obviously this stage ends once we cross the line, completing lap 21. So once you see 22 come on your screen, the stage is over as we go down into turns 1 behind the 19 of our teammate of Andrew. Now obviously he had a pretty strong run in Daytona. I don't remember where he finished in Daytona, but now as we exit turn 2 side by side with the 9, and there you see the 3 of MJ looking to the inside of Andrews go down this back straightaway towards turn 3. Matt Chaffee was still leading the way at this point now, as you see the 48 all the way on at the bottom. Another Matt in the league. There's like 17 Matts and there's 16 drivers, so that gives you an idea of how many Matts there are now as we exit turn 4. There you see behind us the 2 of Smoke running with us. There's a 12 actually puts the 3 in the grass, and then he hits him again on the apron, and thankfully they keep it straight. But now behind us MJ goes spinning, and once again the caution would come out there, as I'm not sure, maybe Sean didn't know the 3 was down there, so I wasn't quite sure exactly what happened, but obviously we would get back into the racing once again. At this point we were now P8. I didn't show all of the pit stops either. We came into the pit lane pretty much under almost every caution, so you're going to see the positions shake up quite a bit here on these restarts now as we get back underway. At this point, just a handful of laps to go in the first stage, and if you guys remember, the top 5 in the standings, so the top 5 drivers in the stages get points, so 6 on back don't get anything as we go down towards turns 1. Last time in Daytona we had a handful of stage points that we accumulated. Now as GTA, or Christian, he's going to get very aggressive going 3 wide up the middle between the 20 and the 12. And I decide I'm going to follow him. There's, I guess, some, he told me after the race that he had gotten some complaints about being too aggressive, which I didn't really see any problem with what he was doing in this race. Now as we come through turns 3 and at turns 4, the 22 got in my left rear just a little bit there as we're still 3 wide up the middle. A little bit of contact there with my teammate of Andrew as I'm still following Christian in the 42. 3 wide up the middle between now the 10 and the 9. He is now as we go down towards turns 1. A little bit of contact on the right rear of the 9 as things were getting pretty crazy right here now in these final laps of this first stage. Smoke in the lead in the 2 as he moved up the track, and our other teammate Matt Karma, he got to the inside of the 2, and now he was going for the lead as we went down this back straightaway. You might notice that moderator Jay, he actually failed to qualify for this race, unfortunately, so he wasn't in it. And then our other teammate, Rocket, in the 18 didn't show up now as we go through down into turn 3, just kind of following Christian through these 3 wides. Now he's going to go 4 wide, and then I see an opening on the bottom, so now I'm going to get under the 9 as we go down this front straightaway. Karma still leading the way over the 22, and then the 22 gets hooked into the grass by Karma's back bumper. That was just kind of a net coding thing right there, but we would continue to run behind Karma. All of a sudden in P2, Christian had gotten behind us, and then it was just kind of us 3 now battling for the stage victory, approaching the final lap here in stage 1. I look to the inside of Karma as we go down towards turn 3. I actually wasn't a fan of the bottom lane very much in this race, as that middle lane was working pretty good for me, and there you see Karma gets the run with that middle lane, as I just didn't have quite what I needed on the bottom. Now as we come through out of turn 4, I move up the track, and that allows Christian to get to my inside now as we go down this front straightaway to start the final lap here in stage 1. If we don't wreck, we're obviously going to get stage points, so that was really the main goal, was to just make sure I get some points here in the first stage. Now as we go down into turns 1 for the final time here in the first stage on the outside of Christian, using that middle lane to my advantage. You can see how much closer we get to Karma on the exit of turn 2, but Christian unfortunately stays to my inside. I was hoping I could clear him, and unfortunately that didn't quite happen. Now as he pushes Karma down this back straightaway and now tries to maybe make a move into turn 3, I decided to let off a little bit early and see if I can cross them over, but it didn't go quite as I wanted, and that slows me up a little bit through as now we come out of turn 4, and Christian gets to the inside of Karma, and he's going to go from 3rd to 1st and a half a lap now as we get to the inside of Karma and take the position away. Christian gets a stage win, and we come through to get 2nd place here in stage 1, so I was pretty happy with a 2nd place finish in the stage. Can't really complain about that, and obviously that will set us up fairly nice for this 2nd stage here in Auto Club. Now is Karma obviously P3, so we got 4 points here in the first stage, so very happy with that. So we would come back to the pit lane, get ready to go green here for the 2nd stage. We actually had a bit of a failed attempt once again at the restart, I believe. So once again, though, I had actually been the leader at this point as we would get back going green here at the beginning of this 2nd stage. Like I said, this is actually like the 2nd restart, I think, to get stage 2 going. But otherwise, we are leading. But you see, Christian gets a very, very strong restart against me as we go down towards turns 1. So obviously now I'm going to have to hold that bottom the best I can through turns 1 and not be able to really throttle up like I want to now as we exit turn 2. Christian and the 14 both on the top. Is that 14? He was the winner back in Daytona last episode for the first race of the season, so he is locked in the playoffs as long as he shows up for enough races. And that was my mic just actually falling, if you heard that. Now as we come through into turns 1 behind Christian is actually the caution would come out. I couldn't remember what in the world brought it up, but it did come out for some reason. Someone obviously crashed, so obviously we would have to get back ready for a restart here at Auto Club, and sure enough we would get back going. I actually should mention I came to the pit lane, took 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel, whatever, and some other drivers decided to do different things, and we had actually dropped down to P9 in that situation. So now we found ourselves back in the pack once again. Here now is it was the 48 and the 22 making a little bit of contact there as we crossed the line. Now a little bit about 15 or so 14 laps ago here in the 2nd stages, it was now the 9 running up front with Karma, who is back up front as they went way up the track through turns 1 and turns 2. So obviously we're in the mix now as Andrew, our teammate, was back up front here today in Auto Club now as we were pushing GTA, or Christian, I'm used to calling him GTA because it used to be his old gamer tag, but once again he was going 3 wide out the middle, and I decided, like earlier, we're going to follow Christian through this mess, and we get up to P3s. He looked to the inside of Andrew now as we were having some pretty good racing up front when we weren't crashing, to say the least, and now as we come through a little bit later on lap 33, still battling with these guys now as we had the Andrew just behind us. Christian went way up the track, so all of a sudden I found myself leading the race once again here towards the later stages of this 2nd stage in Auto Club. Boxer, though, Andrew looks to the inside as we go down into turn 3. Our teammate tries to take the lead, and he does successfully take the lead from us now as we come through turns 3 and on the exit of turn 4, but I want the lead back, so I'm going to try and battle it out with him now as we're going to look to the inside here down this front straightaway, and certainly not afraid to get racy with my teammate. He's certainly, I'm a lot more comfortable racing around Andrew than some others and on the track, to say the least. Now as we come through turns 3 and out of turns 4, approaching still the final laps of this 2nd stage. Andrew once again looks to my inside as we go down this front straightaway, right at my left rear at this point now as he tries to get back ahead, but I decided at this point I'm just going to try and hold that middle lane because I was really enjoying this lane right here that I'm running. I felt a lot better on this lane than I did on the bottom, so I decided to just kind of hold my own right here. But me and Andrew battling actually was bringing the other guys behind us into the situation, as we had Snakebite, a moderator on the channel, close in right on us now, and the 22 got involved, as well as Boxer once again sends it up the inside into turns 3 and turns 4. Very close quarters between himself and I, but we were able to stay clear of him now as Snakebite. He would get into the mix, like I said now, as he would actually be able to make a move on me as we went down into turn 3. This was actually approaching the final lap now in the second stage. Snakebite takes the lead through turns 3 and turns 4 now, but we have the run on the exit of the corner with it to the outside of him as we go down this front straightaway side by side for the lead approaching the final lap here in stage 2. Andrew in third just behind us, and then it looks like it's Karma there coming into the picture as well now, as we just about clear Snakebite into turns 1, but not quite now, as he's going to try and send it up in through the inside. He's not quite there, and that's a huge advantage to me because Karma and him make a little bit of contact behind us. And now as we exit turn 2, Snakebite got loose and he makes contact with the 20 and the 19, and he would go spinning now as I try to break the drive from Karma to make sure on this final lap that we can at least hang on to the stage victory as we go down into turns 3 through the center of the corner, and turns 4 for the final time. Karma gets a little bit closer, but not close enough now. As we exit turn 4, we got second in the first stage, and we're going to come out of turns 4 down this front straightaway to get our first stage victory of the season with a win here in stage 2 in Auto Club. So 5 points for us, and obviously 4 points in the first stage. We ended up getting 9 points in the stages overall, so very strong for us here in the first 2 stages at Auto Clubs. Hopefully we can continue that into the final stage and maybe contend for the victory. We would then get going here for the third and final stage here in Auto Club. Karma had actually been leading at this point. I decided to let him in, as I was second, so I would have to be on the outside, but he chose the top, and then obviously both of us get down to the bottom, which would be preferred at least on restart. Now as we go down into turns 1 and at turns 2, Christian in the 42 just behind us as they're about to go 3 wide, it looks like there, with Andrew getting into the mix. So it was Andrew, Christian, and MJ 3 wide down the back straightaway now, as we were just kind of settling in behind our teammate of Karma. At this point I didn't really feel like I needed to make a big move, as obviously this race isn't scheduled to be over until lap 82. Obviously you can go the extra length with 3 attempts at overtime now as they exit turn 4. Andrew had gone right to my left rear now at this point going down the front straightaway. I decided to just kind of let him have that inside. It didn't really feel like getting into a big battle at this point with the time that we had left there, so we actually get into it a little bit there as we go down into turns 1 in there, and he moved up a little bit there as he went into the corner. Now they're going 3 wide up by inside. There was actually 4 wide, and that completely messed me over because we would start dropping back now as we went down through on lap 50. So now 3 wide as we go down into turns 1 between the 22 and the 3. Now is the 22. He actually gets on the apron, and now there's contact, and we get taken out in the process out of nowhere through turns 1. Somehow we do a complete 360, save the car, but the caution obviously comes out after that incident. Now as they're actually wrecking up in front of us, there was Snakebite spinning, so obviously we had to get back going for a restart there. I think that's the second incident we've been a part of, so once again we did get back going here in this third and final stage. Karma at this point was leading, but now being in the back like this, we got a lot of work to do to get our way back forwards. As the pack race, like I said, was pretty wild when we weren't having incidents, and it kind of made it hard at points to get our way through, but obviously we were able to eventually make our way through this whole situation there as we were passing the 31, as well as Snakebite was coming up to my back bumper there. You see Christian in the 42. Snakebite tried to make a move to my outside actually there across the line, and now we had actually jumped up to the top. Once again getting into this big battle here with this big pack. Christian had actually dropped out of the pack intentionally, I think he said in the party chat, into turn 3. He backed out of it now as there's a little bit of contact between the 20 and the 48 as we come through turn 3. Now to turn 4 we get to the inside of Karma, and now there you see Christian on the bottom behind, or on the inside of MJ there, as we actually nearly get into the right rear of Christian as we come through to cross the line. A little bit over 20 laps to go at this point as we go down towards turns 1. Andrew now once again back out front leading, as there was a 22 and the 10 running up there in second and third. Karma just behind me, the 2 in front of us, so just trying to make sure we don't get caught up in another incident at this point. But even if we did, there was still plenty of time to work our way back forwards. Obviously, pretty much when you get to like 10 to go, that's really when you don't want to get caught up in something here as we go down into turns 3, trying to get up the inside of Smoke as we're going 3 wide with him and Christian through turns 3 and out of turns 4. So now up inside the top 5 again, up to P4 as we went down this front straightaway. So certainly working our way back forwards, which is nice. We definitely had a fast car in this race. I made a few minor adjustments, but now we came through on lap 64, running around with Demon, the 12 of Sean, and then the 42 behind us, Christian once again there as he's pushing up the track a little bit through the center of the corner, and we use that middle lane to try and get ourselves ahead, but he actually has a pretty good run on the exit of turns 2 down this back straightaway, so running P6 down the back straightaway. And now as we came to on lap 65, there you see Matt up ahead actually gets put in the wall by Demon there, as we actually ended up turning Matt after that whole situation went down, as obviously the caution would come out. Actually, I couldn't tell, but I'm not sure if Demon came up or Matt came down. Either way, they still got together and then ended up crashing. And now as we came to back once again after the restart on lap 70, a little bit over 10 laps to go at this point here in Auto Club through turns 3 and up turns 4, running in the 8th position. Obviously, once again, kind of set back after. Now there's once again another incident there as Demon ended up taking out the 20, and then the 48 goes across my bumper. And at this point, no caution came out because we actually had to implement a 3-lap rule because of all the cautions that were coming out. So basically, if you wrecked before the 3 laps after the restart, no caution was going to come out. We got very fortunate to not get cleaned out. We still were actually able to hang on to the draft with the guys in front of us, so we didn't actually lose anything, as we would get right back up into the pack here now as we went down this back straightaway. Now Matt and Demon were coming over to the right from the left side of the track and actually got into me. I'm not sure what in the world they were doing with each other, but it was clear they weren't happy, because then Matt sends it like Daniel Ricciardo almost through turns 4, gets into the side of Demon, and then they hit again, and Matt goes spinning on the exit of turns 4, and that time it would bring out a caution because it was a crash or a spin with contact. So this would set us up now for a late race restart in Auto Club. Running now in P7, we would actually come back to the pit lane and then come out here in this whole mess. This is why we don't have damage on right here now, as obviously P8 on the exit of the pit lane, and we will get back going here on lap 76 or lap 70. Lap 76 we got restarted, and this was the end of the first lap since restart. So at this point we were hitting like 6 laps to go or so here in the races. You see a lot of drivers went up to the top. We passed the 88. The 88 drove into the back of me like 3 laps in a row into the corner. As you can see, actually the 12 behind us just went crashing. That was Sean, as no caution came out due to the 3-lap rule. Now as we're right back up in the mix there, Andrew on my outside is going down into turn 3. Karma all the way down to the apron as it was a 22 leading the way. Matt, he gets to my inside through turns 3 and at turns 4 now as we come through the center of the corner, but he would continue battling with me now as we came on lap 78. There you see Andrew and the 2 going way up the track together, and I have to slow up quite a bit. They still get hooked together, and now the 2's coming down all the way to the left, and he's involved with the 10, and we get completely wiped out, as that was a huge hit on the inside wall. As if that was career mode, we probably would have had a DNF on that one. So once again, a caution comes out, and this time it would force a 2-lap dash here in Auto Club. This was overtime because the checkered flag was supposed to come out once we hit lap 82, so we would be originally coming to the final lap, but due to the caution, this is 2 laps to go here in Auto Club. So obviously running P8, our chances don't look very good to win this race, but we get back going there in the restart zone. It was the 3 of MJ on that front row with, I believe, maybe the 22. It's hard to tell from here. Yes, it was the 22 there as we get to the back. A little bit of snake by Andrew, our teammate, just behind us now, as it looked like they might want to go 3 wide into turns 1. As I follow Snakebite up to the top here, seeing what I can do. We have nothing to lose at this point now, as Sean doesn't have a great launch through the center of the corner, so we can just follow Snakebite on the top. There's the 48 actually got turned down to the inside lane. I think he might have, yeah, he did indeed crash the car. So this would actually bring out a yellow flag, I believe, now as we went down in turn 3, and this would set up for our second attempt at overtime. So our first attempt only made a half a lap, and now we will have attempt number 2 at overtime. We were P7 when the caution came out, so we would get ready to line up in that 7th position here for our second attempt at overtime. Hopefully this would actually be the final attempt, I can confirm. So we were P7 on the bottom, getting ready for the final 2 laps here in Auto Club. It was still MJ leading, Karma second, Smoke third, Christian fourth, and then the 22 and the 8 of Snakebite. Just in front of us as the green flag is up for what will be definitely the final time here in Auto Club. Now 2 laps to go in overtime. Who's going to win it? Karma, we know he's got a strong pace. All the JGR cars are pretty strong in this race. Now it's going down towards turns 1 and 2 for this final penultimate lap now, actually. This is on the inside of Andrew on that outside. Christian, he goes way up the track, and Andrew, he attacks on that, trying to get up the middle of 3 wide. I believe he and the 22 looks like they got a little bit connected now as we go down towards this turns 3, approaching the final lap here at Auto Club Speedway. Is still the 2 now who's leading, and then Karma still on that outside as we go through turns 3 and at turn 4. They're all pushing up as I'm going to get really aggressive on the exit of turn 4. There there as we nearly got into the 22 as he moves up the track a little bit. He gets into the 14 as we're coming through down this tri-oval. The final lap is underway here at Auto Club. Still P7 as we get to the inside of MJ, and we're going to go 3 wide down towards turns 1, nearly making contact now as the 3 actually comes down into us, and that messes up my entrance into turn 1. Matt Chaffee gets to the inside in the process. We clear MJ, a little bit of contact there with Matt as everything was crazy. We made contact with the 14, or the 48, sorry, and we still keep it straight 4 wide down this back straightaway for the final time, trying to get P3 out of it now as we go down towards turn 3. It was Karma leading the way down into turn 3. Now as Chaffee, he sends it in deep, he hits the 19 of Andrew, and we're going to come through to give a little bit of contact to the 10 of Matt, and we exit turn 4, and now we find ourselves in P4 as we go down this front straightaway. Karma would come through to win in Auto Club in overtime as we cross the line to get P4 here in Auto Club. So a wild race, like I said, when everyone was actually able to stay away from crashing, and somehow we get P4 out of it. So certainly happy with that result for us. I can't really complain about a 4th place finish after that mess. It was a second, a first in stage 1 and 2, and then obviously we get P4 in the overall race. So very solid for us, and this would help us in the points. I'll show the points on the screen here in just a moment. As always, if you guys did enjoy, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. There you see the points on the screen. Karma has the points lead. We are P3, tied for second in the points with Christian. So in the next one, we go to Las Vegas. As you can see the schedule on the right side of your screen now. But we've also got a playoff point with the stage 1, so things are looking pretty good. So in the next one, we got Las Vegas. So I'll see you guys in that one. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a great day.